brains are like supercomputers that process a ton of information every day. But sometimes our brains actually make errors when we're processing this information because they rely on certain rules of thumb or mental shortcuts to make decisions quickly. These mental shortcuts can sometimes lead to errors in judgment, and these errors are called cognitive biases. Now, one of the most important cognitive biases to know about when it comes to decision making is confirmation bias. This is where we go out into the world and subconsciously look for evidence for our pre-existing beliefs and worldviews while suppressing or denying any evidence which contradicts those beliefs and that worldview. For example, imagine a person who believes that a certain investment is a sure thing and will bring a large return. They only seek out information that supports their belief, such as positive news articles and optimistic projections, and ignore any negative information, such as warnings from financial experts. This person is likely to make a very poor investment decision because they're not considering all the relevant information. Now, we all fall victim of confirmation bias, and it can actually affect our decision making quite negatively. So it's important that we become aware of it and learn how to transcend it. One of the ways we can begin doing this is by starting to look at the world in terms of polarities. Essentially, when we're talking about an issue or a decision that we're making in life, and there are two sides, there are going to be pros and cons to both sides. But typically what happens is, let's say a person believes in side A, right? And they believe that side is true. That opinion or that worldview is the right worldview to hold or the right decision to make. That person is going to look at the other side and only focus on the cons of that perspective, denying any of the positives. And they're also going to avoid the cons of their own position, and vice versa. And this creates a blind spot where neither side is able to see the pros of the opposing view or the cons of their own view. The counterintuitive thing to do is to consider carefully the negative aspects of one's own position and the positive aspects of the counter argument or the counter position of your own worldview. If you can learn to think in terms of polarities and really look at the world from this perspective, really integrate this into your thinking, then you'll find that you're actually going to become much more objective and much less biased when you're making decisions. And whereas in the past you may have resorted solely to your current belief system or way of looking at the world or paradigm, with polarity thinking you're kind of forced to look at the other potential perspectives that you could take on the situation. And this is really powerful. It can lead to big breakthroughs in your understanding of yourself, of others, and the world at large, and it'll lead to better decision making because you're taking in more information. Of course, the more information you have, the better decisions you can make. So here's what you can take away from this video. The next time you have a hunch or an intuition to act a certain way or to do something specific or to make a certain choice, consider for a minute its inverse. Okay, so basically step back for a second and just consider what the opposite way of looking at the situation could be. See if you can look at that other side from an unbiased, purely objective point of view and really try to get that other side, right? Try to get the perspective of the other side. Then see if you can somehow integrate some of that truth from the other side into your own perspective. Now, first, this might feel counterintuitive and uncomfortable for you. And that's because basically what you're doing here is you're challenging your own beliefs and view of the world. And that can lead to feelings of uncertainty, like you don't really know what to believe anymore. Should I believe in this or that or that? So you suddenly give your mind more options, and that can feel a bit destabilizing, right? And that's part of the process, and it's actually a good kind of challenge for your mind, because now your mind is forced to start integrating more points of view and it's gonna ultimately lead to a more comprehensive and accurate picture of the world. Okay, and the more you do this, the more you hardwire it into your thinking, the more value you will get out of this, and this will be paying dividends to you for the rest of your life. So it's very useful and very worth actually applying. Okay, but you really need to apply it. You can't just watch this video and now assume that you know how to do this. You actually have to practice it in your life. Okay, that's what this is for. So that's all for today. I trust that this video was helpful for you, and if so, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.